in person of Mrs. Mosu Onilete. Please welcome Mrs. Onilete. Thank you. We also have other senior officers of the Ministry of Immigration, the General of the Ministry of Immigration. Moving on, we also have the council members of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association. We welcome all the governing council members. Welcome to the program. Also with us are the Director Generals of the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria. And I will start with our very host, which is the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, in person of Mr. Adewale Smart Oyeride. Please a round of applause for the Ministry of America. Also with us is the Director General of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, in person of Mr. Shegun Ajayi Kadri. Please a round of applause for him. You're welcome, sir. We also have the Director General of the Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, being represented by Mr. Wilmer Inyan. Please welcome him. A round of applause. We also appreciate all the members of NECA. We appreciate you that you've been able to come in quite early and you've been patient to start off the program with us. Please a round of applause to yourselves for being very wonderful participants in this event. Okay, so we move on to the next thing, which is the welcome remarks. And this will be taken by our own Director General, Mr. Wale Smart Oyeride. Please a round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our time is fast spent, so while I would have loved to just welcome, because many of us came in very early, and I was very impressed when I came to the hall and I saw the hall quite full. So my brother and friend, the Honorable Minister for Interior, the Permanent Secretary, Controller General, and other highly placed officers of the Ministry and Immigration. Thank you very much for joining us. My colleagues in the Organized Private Sector, Director General of MAN, thank you, DG MAN, Director General for NASIMA, DG NASME and NASI will join us as contribute. I also want to recognize highly placed members of our Governing Council, Mr. Abdullah Prince, and many others that are seated in the hall that I can't really figure out very well. I'm members of NECA. James mentioned only member of NECA, and rightly so, because we're NECA. I also want to recognize members of MAN, here present, members of issues surrounding the coming in and the going out of his persons. And the reforms that have started, or that was started by the Honorable Minister for Interior since his assumption of office, except we've not passed the airport, except we've not traveled out of the country in recent times. or even at local airports, that's when you will see the kind of reforms, the kind of impacts, visible, valuable impact and reforms that is being championed by the Minister for Interior. Please let's give a round of applause. And with the aim of further simplifying this process, simplifying the whole process to make it easier for all of us, not only foreigners, but also Nigerians. There are other different reforms that are coming from the ministry, and we feel very strongly. And characteristics of him being a private sector person, also he felt he has to reach out to the private sector and get the concurrence, the alignment, not the concurrence now, because government will always be so big, but get the alignment of the private sector to the many reforms that is ongoing in the ministry, so that we're all part of it. And because we'll be part of it, we will also be more disposed towards making those reforms work. And in the spirit of that, about a month ago, we had a stakeholder engagement at the leadership level in NEC House with leadership of MAN, NASIMA, leaders of OPS and OPS and OPTS as well. And one of the outcomes of that meeting was the creation of a 10-man committee. I need to give you this background.
Thank you. Please, let's all speak. Um, Let me start by especially apologizing for keeping you coming about 30 minutes. I sincerely apologize. It's not in my habit. I think the last time I had to even wait for like 10 minutes, but we have to fly from Abuja and issues that has to do with aviation. So I sincerely apologize for keeping you waiting, please. Please accept my apologies, please. Let me especially thank the organized private sector. And let me especially thank the DG NECA, the DG man, OPTS, I think I'm not wrong, and the small industry, and they all, Nasima and everybody for the cooperation so far. For me, I am a strong believer in the fact that we can achieve a lot if we decide to collaborate. Once the private sector and the public sector comes together and agree in a lot can be achieved. I sincerely think that yes, government is sovereign, government is supreme, but we need the input of the private sector. The last time we came here, we had our ideas because let's call a spade a spade. As somebody told me, never call a spade an agricultural tool, call it a spade. I'm sure most of you here are more comfortable with a lot of things within the system. The first thing for me is Nigeria. And the reason why you're in business is because there is a country called Nigeria. National interest is fundamental. And for us, we think the first thing we need that needs to be done is for us to clear the system in a very transparent manner. I know you want to do business, but you must do business in line with the law of the land. For me, we started with the Ministry of Interior to operate our processes. And a scenario whereby we had so many dark spots points where immigration we have. And even the ministry only have the address of people. That's the truth. We don't even know where. So if there are illegal activities happening, we don't even know where to go. And we have also forgotten that the fund being paid for even the quota is supposed to be what government should even use to ensure monitoring and evaluation of even understudies. And that is why today we have a country where there are expatriates doing the same job for more than 10, 15, 20 years. Even if we are the dullest people in the world, 15 years is enough to train. The only person from this part of the world to make the presentation of it, because the world is excited about what we are doing in Nigeria.
Thank you.
And I made one point very clear, which is my biggest concern. And my biggest concern is that Nigeria is a country of 230 million people. Statistically, 70%, 70% of that population are people under the age of 10, under the age of 8. 42% of that population are below the age of 15. It means that if we do not understand the principle of wealth creation without unnecessary taxation, we might just be preparing a vicious army against the state of the future. 70% are under 30. That is one of the biggest statistics in the world. Nigeria is projected by 2050 that Nigeria will be the most populous country in the world. And for me, if you look at the rate of growth, transfer, it's not creating problems for the future. And we are not providing solutions. Leadership is about creating solutions before problems come. When you wait till the problem gets to your door, you might not have the time to create the solution. So that is why one of the biggest reforms we'll be doing, and I'm not sorry to say it, because my responsibility as Minister of Interior, as Mr. President, we always say, it's not for people to like me, it's for me to do what is right. The issue of understudy will be taken very seriously. Because I will give you an example. Myself and my permanent secretary, we were reviewing understudy report. There are so many places you will see jobs, engineering jobs. Yes, is an engineer. Yeah, he's just a boy that just finished school science. That will submit. Where you have like electrical engineer that you just put school science for that stuff, just to fulfill all requirements. At the end of the day, still we are training, we are still not knowing. Are you telling me we don't have Nigerian engineers that can be understood? Nigerian graduates. If a graduate job, all you are providing for me as an understanding is a school science, then you are not helping my country. Relationship, it should be parasitic, sacrifice the comfort of tomorrow on the altar of this conflict. So please, I'm begging, I'm pleading with you that we would need a lot of your cooperation. Because for me, the only country I have, the only passport my children carry is the Nigerian passport. So it is in my own interest for us to do what is right. So the issue of quota, we need to meet more states. And that is why I tell you, before there was approval limit that a director could approve for quota. But this year I cancelled that. The PAMSEC has a limit, then it comes to the minister. Because I will quota, and I share that experience with DG Mecca. Why do you need a quota for a waitress? And I was ashamed that it was actually approved in the ministry. I have to say, let's call a spade a spade. And for me, I don't tell you the waitress. One of the biggest companies in Nigeria sent a request for quota. And guess what? One of the requests was a driver. How can we do this to our country? How? How can we do this to our own country? Where is patriotism? Where is nationalism? And somebody will sit down and they only pay but I don't understand. Oh, you understand? I don't get it. Are facts. Something, even if some of our them to attain their potential. This is a country where there should be no ceiling in terms of growth and development on any hard-working, patriotic citizen. And it is our responsibility to be the voice of the voiceless, and for us to be the conscience of the nation. So, please, if you want to make request for quota to my ministry, because everything now to my own eye, please let it be reasonable. When you ask for quota that you need, and you prove it, that you need it, and what is the essence of quota? It is if there is no Nigerian that has the capacity to do the job, then you can bring somebody, then you will not have a Nigerian as an understudy, so that there will be knowledge transfer. But in a scenario whereby people, Nigerians in some places are relegated eventually to support roles, this government will not tolerate it. We will not. And that's the truth. I've been fortunate in life, not being the most brilliant, but there are people, first class people walking on the streets, and yet they don't have hope that Lord will smile on them. We can't live like this. And when you look at our GDP, the growth in GDP, vis-a-vis unemployment, then you ask yourself some questions. Is it that we are not creating jobs? The fact is that we're creating jobs, but a larger chunk of those jobs are not going to our people. We are not trying to say, no, if you have skills, it's like in the UK. Of course, they do sponsorship. They issue you certificate of sponsorship. If you have, but there must be a need, but not for you to say you want to open a hotel and you need an expatriate waitress. Haba, man, haba. We shouldn't be wicked to ourselves. So please, because very soon, DG NECA, they will come to you and say, Minister is not issuing quota. We will issue reasonable quotas. Be reasonable. Don't come and tell me that you need something that the Nigeria can do. You are telling me, I saw one that's talking to me about HR. We need HR manager. Why do you need to do an HR manager in Nigeria? Let's call it spade. Why? TUC just sent me some people. Now, there's one of some thousands, and I looked at it. It's a problem. Please, we will not allow this to happen. Secondly, the issue of the SEPA. Don't be scared. We are not increasing your SEPA fee. We're not increasing SEPA. But because I know them, when they say SEPA, they say, as I said, you are not me personally, I'm not interested in. To me, let's sanitize the system. That's the first issue of the SEPA. We are automating it end to end. Because as it is today, the procedure is you have to go to a Polaris Bank to go and buy form. When you buy form, you pay the bank, you now fee, you take to SEPA center, they will now go and do this. Honestly, there's no country in this type of century that will do that. So please, end to end, your SEPA will be filled online. Payments done online. Immigration will review through the back end. And if you know you have criminal issue, don't apply to your SEPA, you will get you, because we are integrating the SEPA solution to Interpol 247 and all the criminal systems, so that Nigeria will not be a safe haven for somebody that they are looking for all over the world. This place is not safe for you. Go back. So everything, you can do it from the comfort of your office. And by our laws, we are going to be holding employers responsible for violations. If the way it's done all over the world, it is the employers that will hold employee. My business is with you, business owners. Not, so it is their responsibility to ensure, because even in the UK, because we went through, we did about 6 stakeholders across the globe. We've been working on this for months, if not over a year, looking at the way it's done all over the world, best practice and everything, then before coming up. Because as I always say, a good solution is not good enough for Nigeria. Only the best is good enough. That's the truth. So we have looked at it end to end. So you don't need to go to the bank, because we don't want to give you excuse for non-compliance. So please, that will go live on the 1st of May, and applications, all applications of all our services will be from immigration website, and the one that deals with the ministry's website. But what we've done is that even the one that deals with the ministry, there will be a link on immigration website. Anyone that deals with immigration, there will be a link. So any website you go to, either immigration or the ministry, you can navigate and find your way. So wherever is issued, there will be a virtual copy to your mail with a QR You know in your mind. So we are automating it. And if immigration see you, all they need, once they have either your first name, your date of birth, your passport number, or whatever, they will pull out their so that you must always let us know the progress of these understandings with milestones, so that we will know when this understanding we can be able to project and also give account that, oh, in the last 1 year, these are the number of understandings that have actually taken over. Or we are projecting that in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, this is the number of understandings. A country without data cannot move forward, because data is the foundation of planning. And planning is the foundation of success. So we are taking that more seriously. I've spoken about the business permit, and also part of the decision that we took. There is one way people avoid setback, and that way is through the TW. There are a lot of people. I know a company that got thousands of TW. Not mentioning names. Why? Because it's relatively simple. They expire, they will renew the ability to do that. He said, no. Setback is for 1 year. Abi?
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
If you want to work in Nigeria for 3 months, that is quarter of a year. Abi?
Yes.
Pay the prorated amount of your setback. If you want to work for 6 months in Nigeria, you don't need to pay for 1 year. Then you do your TELP, temporary expatriate residence permit, for 6 months. Okay? So instead of somebody coming who wants to work for only 6 months, and they will say, go and pay, buy setback. You don't need to buy setback of 1,000, I mean 2,000. Just go and do half of it. But that is what we are doing. So if you are working 3 months in Nigeria, you will do 1 quarter. 3 months is 1 quarter of a year. I mean, so do we understand? Yes. So for 3 months, you pay how much is that? It's 500. But because I don't want you to abuse my system, you pay 600. If you are doing 6 months, it is 1,000. You are paying 1,000. You know why? If you pay separate 1 year, the human effort, the human resources I need for enforcement is 1. If you are breaking it, you are giving me more work. So we have agreed with the private sector on that. And I think it's also good for business. Reason being that some people who are paid for some legitimate law-abiding expatriates, a lot of them are law-abiding. But they, of course, just in any part of the world, there are some bad eggs. But those people who come here 6 months, they pay $2,000. I say, no, don't pay. Pay a prorated. So it now means that it is how long you want to work in Nigeria that determines how much you pay. It's no longer going to be blanket. That's what we are spoken about. Now, another one that we are spoken about, that we have also worked on, is the insurance. We have agreed with the organized private sector. So, every year, we spend, I won't be exaggerating if I say we spend billions on repatriation of foreigners. That's taxpayers' money. That's the truth from immigration. As a matter of fact, like a month ago, because we had exhausted our allocation for repatriation, and we are still in April. We had to write when there's a Mexicans, I think about four, no, not the Mexicans, there are some people sure, that we needed, I think the checks, they went against immigration rules and we needed to repatriate them. We have to write for intervention of 25 million to repatriate them for taxpayers' money. Sir, the more taxpayers' money of Nigeria will be used by Nigeria to develop road infrastructure, not to repatriate it. The Immigration Act, I read it, is very clear when I was looking for solution to that problem. There are two ways, and we decided to go for the cheapest way. What are the two ways? The two ways by virtue of the Immigration Act is for you to pay a bulk amount to concentrate revenue fund that will cater for flights, logistics, and we know that cannot be less than $10,000. But we will not put that burden on you because as a government, we want investors. We want to encourage you, but we also want you to know that our money for our infrastructure cannot be used for repatriation and deportation. So the second option is a bond and insurance policy, such that if you err, it's annual within the course of the year, the insurance company takes responsibility of the ticket and everything, and they pay. The government does not pay a cop, save government of money. Then number two, as it's done in almost all over the world, not just emerging economies, there's something called personal liability insurance. If you, as an expatriate, come to Nigeria and their personal liabilities, for instance, accidents involving in Nigeria, body assault, destruction of properties, or whatever. When you finish, you go, the Nigerian is left to be counting his loss. It will not happen. We have seen it happen in so many places. Your responsibility of coming here is to become better and to also make us better. But you can't leave us in the worst state. So it is the insurance company that pays those liabilities to make sure that even if you want to go and rent a house and you destroy or whatever, the Nigerian is not in the position, you don't take him back. If you destroy, if you have anything that has to do with national state. So what we have introduced is what we call public comprehensive insurance. It's in the law. I didn't make the law. So annually, that will be paid, one for the setback, and of course the TE. So this, we have discussed the details with the organized private sector. And we have said we cannot be sentimental when it comes to nation building. We have to take hard decisions. We have to take decisions that will not hurt your businesses, but decisions that will also give us a Nigeria of our dreams. Then the issue of landing an exit card. Before I go to that, let me speak briefly on the e-visa. There will be a detailed presentation on the e-visa. The e-visa, we're introducing it from the 1st of May, because we realize that if you look at, we are interested in also opening our borders more for tourists, for people to come, small business meetings, and etc. And we realize that when you look at North America, the most populous country in North America is the United States. Tito, the biggest economy in North America, the United States. You look at South Africa, the biggest country in terms of population is Brazil. The biggest economy is Brazil. When you look at East Asia, look at Asia, the most popular East Asia, that's China. The biggest economy is China. And on the other side, India, biggest economy is India. When you come to Africa, we are the most populous, but we are not yet the biggest economy. So something is we need to work on it. All over the world. Once you have the population, you have the markets. All that is needed are policies which this government is doing to be able to increase the purchasing power of the people and to increase productivity of our people. So we're introducing the e-visa. The e-visa is one that guarantees you visa within 48 hours to Nigeria. The bottlenecks gone. We don't want you, not be anybody, to come to Nigeria. We want you to come. We are providing a more convenient way of getting access to Nigeria while making sure that we tighten our security. That is technology. Any technology that does not give you security and efficiency is not technology. So for us, we've worked around all issues around security, and I can tell you, we are good to go. So within 48 hours, people want to come to Nigeria. You don't need to go to the embassy because it could be off. For instance, you are in the UK, you are in Scotland or Glasgow, or you are in Oldham or Edinburgh. You have something, a quick business meeting in Nigeria, maybe just for 2 days, and you have to go and pick a date online before you go to the embassy or the BAC to give you date. You say go and wait, we are processing and doing all those things. The business would have gone. We all know every business there might be need for you to move. So that's why we decided to add business visa to part of this category so that the business communities can have more opportunity to try. And also, it's replacing what we call the visa on arrival, because the visa on arrival today is approved by the CG's office. And we think you cannot have a single point of failure, and you can't have a single point of issuance. People still need to lobby to get visa on arrival. That's the truth. And we think there are some people that have even formed a business enterprise around business on arrival. They call themselves visa on arrival agents. And we think for a country that wants to be the biggest economy in Africa, a country that's looking towards becoming a $1 trillion economy, we cannot allow corruption within the system to destroy the ambitions of Mr. President. For us, visa is beyond an instrument of immigration control. Visa is beyond an instrument for border control. For us, visa is also a tool for economic growth and development. Because people must come. So while we are looking at visa from the angle of security, we must not also close our eyes to the role that visa has to play in terms of economic growth of the country. So we have to keep simplifying the process without compromising security, but ensuring that anybody that has a legitimate business in Nigeria does not need anybody to get response in record time. So we are going ahead on the 1st of May with the e-visa solution. And also, it will also help us to cut fake visas, because this one, of course, has its QR code, and every visa issued is in the database. So once we query, verification is easy. So anybody who holds, people that try on fake visas, they should know that that's the end of business. Now, finally, we're doing what we call the landing and exit card. Please, we are not introducing anything new with regards to landing and exit card. Please let me first of all say this so that people will not think we are complicating the process. all we are doing is to automate the paper card that they give to you now. For foreigners, for expatriates or foreigners coming into Nigeria, inside the country, they share paper card. But we are saying that we're a country of 230 million brilliant, intelligent, tech savvy people. We cannot, and I repeat, be giving paper. So before you board to Nigeria, you must go online and fill your landing card so that it's even easier, even at the point of entry. And we have also told airlines they must see your landing card the way we used to do during COVID before they board you. Because few reasons why we are doing this. The ones I can say, some I won't be able to say for national security reasons. But one of the main reasons is this. If today I need to have a record of details on your landing card of 5 years ago, which paper am I going to be looking for? So, but if it is electronic, even in the next 20, 30 years, government can get data for us. So it helps us in terms of our data administration. And two, it's also easy for you because within 2 minutes, you fill it online, you have it in your mail, you just show it, that's it. And Nigeria is not the only country. If you go to Taiwan, go to Singapore, go to everywhere, it's what is happening. So we are not doing anything ordinary, extraordinary. And we are saying we can't be sharing paper again. We too, we have gone 5G as a country. And the exit card, that one is very serious. You must fill it. You must fill the exit card online, just when you fill the landing card that you are leaving. And that is a weapon. If you have overstayed your visa, we will know through the exit card. And if it is one that allows for penalties, we will tell you to pay your penalty. And if it is the one that has gone beyond penalty, that if you overstay for 3 months, you have how many years ban? 5 years. If you overstay for 1 year, don't come back to this country. Don't come. So, but airlines, before they board you, they will see your exit. Because people will not come to Nigeria for tourism, for 2 weeks tourism, and be in Nigeria for 3 years to work. We have to clean our immigration system. So please, but we understand that, of course, there might be need for people to regularize. We want to draw that line and there's an amnesty period. All these solutions will take effect from the 1st of May. But we will give 3 months moratorium so that if you don't have setback, if you have overstayed, if you have done this, you will have 3 months to regularize. Justify and regularize. If you don't, after 3 months, once we get you, then it will be very hard in terms of implementing our immigration laws. So please, for 3 months, please regularize your immigration. Go to immigration, regularize, and if you are fine, that's it. So the whole penalty system we only start after 1st of August. Okay, just go, we'll play it. If it's one, don't want you, you can go. If it's whatever, you can regularize. But from 1st of August, the penalty system was that you cannot have laws without repercussion for disobedience. If you disobey the law, there should be repercussions. And I beg you, our expatriates, whatever you cannot do confidently in your country, don't try it. I beg you, Nigeria is not a dumping ground, and Nigeria is not a lab for experiments of misdeeds, behaviors. We want to collaborate. We want to get the best out of you. We also want to give you our best hospitality and cooperation. But please, in the name of God, let it be based on mutual respect. Respect yourself, the country, and please respect our bilateral relationship. I plead with you. We are not here to witch hunt everybody. Rather, even if there are concerns, we will address your concerns. We'll be more open, we'll be more transparent, and we'll be more cooperative. But please, our hospitality shouldn't mean the same dictionary meaning as stupidity. We are hospitable, we are very accommodating, but we have laws that must be respected. And it is my job as the Honorable Minister of Interior to ensure that the laws are implemented and respected. And I will not fail in that regard. It's not an assurance, it's a promise. I won't fail. It's a promise. So I agree with you. Let us not be like some noisy neighbors. I think Manchester fans, they know that. Please, let's live together, let's work together, let's respect one another. Let's build a system that you will be proud of. There are a lot of foreigners doing well in other countries. There are a lot of Nigerians doing well in other countries. So please, let's create a sweet experience. Business unusual. Something that my children, your children will be proud of. Let's build something special. And lastly, all this is what we call the expatriate administration system. All the things I've mentioned into what we call an EAS. This is to provide transparency within the system. And we have also finished the deployment of what we call the CMAS. Around that's centralized interior management and administration system. It's a single system where everything plugs in and everything can be seen from the ministry and agencies. And let me say this very clearly. I'm saving the best for the last. And that is the message of Mr. President. The President, we know he's a product of the private sector. He was inexamable, not just being inexamable. He was treasurer of ExxonMobil. He understands the private sector. He wants the private sector to thrive. And that's why you can see some of the policies, education, a lot of policies have the private sector. And I, as a minister in his cabinet, it's my responsibility to make sure that we achieve it. Please, I beg you, let us be up and doing. And also, we have set up a desk in Nigeria Immigration Service. We call it Expatriate Support Desk. So that if at all, not individual expatriates, so let's call it DG. I said not individual expatriates coming to disturb us. The Expatriate Support Desk that we decided to create. So the email is there, which is a collaboration between the private sector and us. So if they are concerned, you can easily reach out to us and we will respond in record time. I want to thank you for listening. I want to appreciate you for coming. I want to thank you for your collaboration. And I want to assure you of one thing. Nigeria will not abandon you. But please do not disgrace and mess up Nigeria. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Minister of Interior, that was a wonderful address. And a lot has been said. The expatriate administration issues around the expatriate providing an expatriate support desk. A lot has been said. And I know we have a lot of questions. I know we have some feedbacks. But before we go into that, another thing that's unique about what you have said is that most of these things will be implemented starting from the 1st of May. And one thing again add to that is the 1st of May is also his birthday. So we'll be starting the implementations on his birthday. Thank you, sir, for the good work you have been doing. So I know we still have a lot to say. There's going to be a presentation from the ministry. But whilst we're going on with the address, we had the honor of having the presence of the Director General of NASI, that's the Nigerian Association of Small Scale Industry, in person of Engineer Ifeanyi Oputa. Please a round of applause to him. Thank you for joining us, sir. So I'll call on Mr. Cabral Wizingina to take us through the presentation. Please a round of applause.
Good morning. The Honorable Minister of Interior, DG NECA, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on established protocols. My name is Cabral Wizingina. I am here to run us a brief presentation on the Nigerian Visa Policy 2024 reviewed. Further or sequel to what the Honorable Minister has spoken about, I'm here to show us what the ministry is doing, the plans that are in place, the processes that have also been established, and everything that we need to expect on or before the launch on the 1st of May 2025. So I'll briefly take us through presentation, and hopefully the other things we need to do, we can do that right after. So next slide. Now, the 2025 Nigerian visa policy is an improvement on the 2024 approved visa policy. However, some of the unique changes in the 2025 visa policy is the ability of the Nigerian, of all visa categories, types, to be processed centrally in Abuja. So regardless of where you are in the world, all visa applications will be processed here at the Nigerian headquarters of the Nigerian Immigration Service. Every single application. The process, regardless of e-visa or regular SEPAC, TWP, every single process is now automated. Next slide, please. Now, part of what we're introducing in the 2025 is the e-visa service, which is made up of 13 classes of e-visa. We will run through some of these classes, but it has been streamlined to be able to accommodate many of the reasons that you would want to come here and make the process easier, eliminating the previous or the usual method, using another visa class to carry out other activities. Next slide, please. The regular visa policy will still continue as is. However, those decisions that used to be taken at the Nigerian embassies will be taken at the headquarters, so that we have a unified platform of where decisions are taken to be able to cut off a lot of the bureaucracy that a lot of foreigners are exposed to. Next slide, please. So, like I said earlier, the visa process will purely be online. For the e-visa, there will be an electronic issuance, which means you do not need to have the BigNet or any other thing. Once you come in with your electronic certificate, you'll be cleared. These visas, the maximum duration of stay 90 days, depending on the class you select. However, I would suffice to say that none of the e-visa are renewable in country, which means you must exit the country to apply. You cannot extend your stay while you're here. We have introduced multiple classes. Next slide, please. To ensure that there is sufficiency for the short stay e-visa, the turnaround time for application when you complete and make payment is 48 hours. For the regular visas, we're looking at a turnaround time of about 10 days. So most of the eligibility criteria will be sustained. You need to have a valid passport for about 6 months, accurate and complete information. I would like to see that in the coming weeks on the immigration website, you will see details. Now we've drilled it down to very specific requirements depending on the visa class. So there's no ambiguity regarding the documents you need to provide. You don't need to seek clarity. It is very specific to the visa class that you're applying with regards documentation that you need to provide. Once all those are uploaded, it is vetted back end and you get an answer. Next, please. So the only difference with the regular visa is you still have an in-person interview. However, the report of that will be submitted to the headquarters and approval. Next, please. Now, for the MVP 2024 review, we've got these categories. We've got the visa-free exemptions, which includes some institutions like the UN, AFDB, and then some other countries we have bilateral and reciprocal arrangements and agreements with. Then we have 44 classes under the short e-visa, short stay visa embassy, the temporary residency visa, and the permanent. Now, this is not a complete reduction, but we did a grouping. We had 79 classes, but streamlined to about 44 for ease of application. So now, going forward, we will be able to do some kind of group applications. The principal applicants, for instance, can apply for his family under one visa. Group applications for people that want to come in groups, you will also be able to do that. So those have been streamlined to also accommodate dependents. Next slide, please. So these are the visa-free exemptions that we have. These are the classes and the agencies that will be able to do that. Next. These are the classes for permanent residence visa. Not to worry, all this will be available online shortly, but we have 10 classes here. Next, please. This is for short stays, still requiring you go for an interview at the embassy. Next. Temporary residency visa. I will speak more to some of these and the processes, just like what the Honorable Minister said. Everything will be but we have streamlined some of these processes so that it makes easy with little or no contact for anybody to aid you. It is pretty straightforward. Next, please. So these are the 13 classes of e-visas that you can apply online and get a response within 48 hours. Channels of communications are being worked on as we speak. You will be able to get in touch in case there's an issue. However, the process is designed to be streamlined, that you can do this from the comfort of your home and get a response in 48 hours. Please, you do not need to call anybody, reach out to anyone for facilitation whatsoever. The system is designed, since it's centrally done, to make sure that every single application is treated at the Nigerian Immigration Service headquarters. Now, what are some of the things that we have reviewed? I did speak about online processing, centralized decision-making. Please, I would like to intimate us that you would soon start getting calls from the Nigerian Immigration Service to verify some of your, for instance, your hotel bookings, hosts, just to add an extra layer to make sure that we are meeting the right people and there's no abuse of this route to obtain a visa. Next slide, please. So let's get into the review in detail. So we used to have 4 channels. We reduced that to 3. The e-visa, visa at the embassy, and the visa application center will still be in use. Next, please. So I did say earlier, we have worked on some groupings. So for example, if a family wants to come in for tourism, you can group family applications, which means that you can bring in your minors. Nigeria identifies a minor as somebody being under the age of 18. So you're able to apply for your dependents using the system. You don't have to do that separately. You can group that. I did speak on the group applications. You'll be able to batch applications depending on the e-visa category that allows for either group or family. Then we did take into account persons with disabilities. You will be able to apply for all these classes. However, there would be another leg at the embassy, but the timing will also be shortened, and where that is not applicable, you'll be advised on what to do. Next, please. So documentation is very clearly defined. On the website, we will give specifics. Do you need to provide 6-month statements, for example, where you would be, for instance, if you have a hotel accommodation, you need to provide that. Itinerary of your travel, if you need to provide that. It's very detailed, and we've eliminated any ambiguity with regards to what you need to provide. Next, please. So, part of what we would see is certain visa classes have single and multiple entry, and we will definitely let you know if it's a group visits are permitted or family. Also, sorry, could you go back, please? Yeah. So for the TWP, just like what the Honorable Minister did say, there are 2 classes, the 90 and the months. Within those classes, you'll be able to see in detail what you can do next. Now, this is where part of that enforcement comes into play. We do have an overstay fee of $15 a day.
$20.
So this will not be implemented until after that grace period, after you regularize your visa. If you overstay for 3 months, the provision right now is a 5-year ban. If you overstay for more than a year, it's 10 years, and this is also subject to change. However, the idea is to encourage people to visit within the validity and duration of their visas and not to abuse that process. Next slide, please. So let me get into detail of how this is going to work. It's a very simple process. You apply for your visa online, upload all your documents. We carry out verification checks. If we do have issues regarding incomplete or there's a problem with your documentation, we will write back to you. Once rectified, that visa will be issued to you electronically. Then you get your landing card and proceed your trip. Next slide, please. So this is an example of the e-visa certificate that it's electronically. Once you apply and you've gotten an approval, you will get this in your mailbox, which you don't need to print. All you need to do is have it on your electronic device. Like I said, all this information will be detailed on the website. Next, please. Next. These are just some examples of the emails that you will get when if we need to request information or we deny or we approve. Next, please. Next. Now, let me dwell a little bit on this so that we understand what is going to happen in this process. You will create an account on this platform, and depending on your visa type, all you need to do is put in your passport number. It will be pre-populated, and you just put in your flight details. We have taken into account some issues regarding where you don't find your details. You're allowed to manually put that in. However, we present this at the point of entry or exit. What the system does is, next slide, please. Next one. What the system does is, whatever visa class you have, we are going to do some validity checks. This check, especially when you come into the country, the count is started the moment you present your land. Very important. It's very important that you acquire a landing card on entry. And we will be able to check against the system what kind of visa and the duration it permits. So if you do not activate your landing card, you will not be granted entry into the country. And the landing card doesn't only say you're coming in, but it is tied to everything. Your landing card will check your SEPA, will check your temporary residency permit or temporary expatriate residency permit. It will check all those details. So we tie the entire process. It's more like we unified the whole system into one. So with that landing card, the immigration officer will be able to see everything concerning immigration. Now, if there is also considered some of the challenges that have been presented regards whether the system is not working or whether there's no internet. We have factored all that in. I'm happy to say that with the new technologies we have now, we're able to have an offline system. And this is not restricted to air travel. This is also across land and sea borders. So it is very important that you do get that landing card. On exit, before your visa expires, you will get a notification advising that your visa, your duration of stay is about ending and you need to exit the country. Remember, on the e-visa, it is not renewable country. You must exit. The fine must be paid in the unlikely event that you overstay your visa. Once Now, on the same platform, once you realize that you've overstayed, you'll be asked to pay the penalty before the landing card is issued. However, these penalties are on pause right now until the regularization is done. And with the Honorable Minister's permission, I would like to speak on regularization. Regularization would mean those that have overstayed, those that acquired visas fraudulently. If you know that whatever permit you have here has a question mark, there are channels that will be open for you to try and regularize your stay before that cutoff date. Because after that day, enforcement would be applied on these processes. So I would encourage you, part of what we'll be putting out as well is the processes in detail on what you need to do. And please, there is no victimization on this. You're able to seamlessly do it regardless of the condition or the situation to which you applied it, as long as you're in country. Next slide. So that's a general of the entire MVP 2025, and we look forward to sharing information. I will encourage that channels will be opening on social media, emails will be engaging, and the information we're putting out, we'll try to put out as much as possible. In the coming days before the launch, there will be a lot more information on our social media handles, and whatever issues really reach out so that we can try to answer some of those questions as best as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm sure we have a lot of questions, clarifications to make, but I would like to call on the Director General of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, person of Mr. Adewale Smarto Inyide, to help us with the reactions, comments, and questions. Please, a round of applause for him as a first.
Please, can we give, I won't try to pronounce his name, but can we give the last presenter a round of applause? Okay, the Honorable Minister, thank you very much for your time and presentation with me, and also thank you very much. He has said quite a lot, and we might not be able to assimilate the quantum of the issues currently, even when it seems quite straightforward, simple enough, and the Minister has given us his assurance, and also when we met the PS also they give us the assurance that this process is going to be as open as possible. And the intention is not to victimize, but the intention is to enhance the processes along the line. So I also want my colleague to, okay, if you have the email, the different slides that people can copy the email, you can, whatever issue you have, be rest assured that the OPS will backstop this process. This has given us demonstrated absolute maximum openness to engage. And if you follow the pattern of the news, I think after our engagement on the 4th of March, he told me that he also engaged the president to share with him the engagement with the private sector. And the president also gave a directive that all ministries, agencies must engage the OPS on issues that challenge the OPS consistently. It was as a result of the engagement we have with him, and is whispering that to the minister, to the president. So thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And you also see the pattern. I think the fruit of it is what we are seeing now: engagement with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment on the issue of the FRCs. There's maximum engagement going on with that. Engagement with MESRA on the issue of levies that also affects all of us. Engagement with PEPEC. So many engagements, or so many engagement points that our engagement with the minister has battered or that has reinforced. And we are also very bold to tell those agencies and ministries that, look, if the Ministry of Interior can engage us as much with positive outcome and result, then there's no reason why they should not engage us. So we've been dropping your name to say, look, you have been engaging, so why would they engage? Thank you very much for that. So for all issues, before we go to the questions and the reactions, any issue concerning this that you have, he has said a lot of things, and some of those things, when they shared it with us, with me and my colleagues, when we were in Abuja, some of them were quite embarrassing, really. And to put PS in a position where he can actually defend and fight on our behalf of businesses, the businesses must also behave responsibly to a large extent, because that is when we can rightly confront or approach government to say, this is what we want, this is what we request. But when our members are also failing or conspiring to game the system, then it's, as they will say, local balance, it falls our hands, because I can show you don't even know what to say again, because your members are also culpable. So this email, we'll use it temporarily for all issues you have. It will be coordinated by the OPS itself. All issues you have that are not frivolous, you'll be rest assured that we'll take it to the office of the appropriate office. And the minister also considered to us that it tends to be open domicile at the immigration. In fact, when we requested that we want them to give him a report every quarter, the minister said no, that he wants a report of the activities of that committee or that point, that text on a monthly basis. So that shows his willingness to resolve issues as they arise. So if we have any issue that needs clarification within the context of the implementation of these processes, or within the context of the operationalization or your engagement with those on the field, please feel free to send those queries to this place so that we can deal with them. But for the purpose of now, if you have any reaction that we want to give, we have we'll do the closing, we'll do the vote of thanks on your behalf. We'll thank the minister, thank the PS, thank the CG Immigration on your behalf. But if you have any specific intervention, not bothering on past experience, because we are trying to draw the line now to say, look, Udoro Council, let's move forward in the context of presentation. But if you have issues that put us on this presentation that you want to make, or you have specific questions that you think we should take, please we'll take a few questions so that we can get everybody back to their places of work. So if I point to, can you just, will you be kind enough to just come to the front one? I know, sir, can you just come to the front? We don't want questions to bar the question. Mr. Chuma, please come to the front, please come to the front. That is 4. Please come to the front, yes. Shall you come to the front? At the back, yes, the man with the cap, come to the front. Please come to the front. Please come to the front, at the back. The person at the back, no, the last. So we'll take this track first. So if your question or your issue has been is addressed in the course of the conversation, we will appreciate if you magnanimously just go back to your seat. Please, let's go straight to the point on this issue of clarification. I believe, sir, you might come to join me so that you can give answers to those questions. There's no pleading the Fifth Amendment, so probably give answers to those questions. So we'll take the question. Please let's go straight to the clarification or to the questions so that we take the question.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, and Honorable Permanent Secretary. I'm asking you a question regarding the data. How long did you have to say when you want to use your data? So the first thing is Hello, sorry, good afternoon again.
So I wanted to ask a question regarding the expatriate quota. For my company now, I've tried to renew the quota since January of this year, and this is April. I have to receipt. But just as you said earlier, you said that the quota is now being approved by the but this is taking quite a while. Okay. Now, this is like April now, and I will need this quota to be able to renew the SEPA for my expatriates. And this is since January, so I don't know what's going to happen, what is the problem, what is their issue?
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Thank you very much for giving us the best which we expected. My name is Namit Wadani, India Post Product Standard Limited. My question is, all people like us who want to make this form, how we can get nationality over here? This is my simple question. Thank you, sir.
They already started the existing protocol. My name is Tuma Wango, HR Manager, Africa Region, Mediterranean Shipping Company, and a member of the Governing Council of Africa. My question is on this. Automation is very good, and it's certainly the right way to go in this day and time. But we also know that it makes it easy for data to be stolen or to be abused. So the question is, what assurances are you giving on data protection? Thank
you. Honorable Minister, my name is Chief Takiu Amis Emapa. I've been in Nigeria for the last 45 years. Honorable Minister, I'm in pharmaceutical sector. We have a manufacturing facility here, and we cater the entire needs of the they are spread all over Nigeria. My suggestions, first of all, I want to thank you that you have said there is no increase in SEPA charges, and we are grateful to you. Let's give a round of applause for that. On the SEPA issue, my request or I plead with you that for the spouses also we pay the same amount of $2,000. If I ask you to write off, you may not agree. Probably can you please reduce it to 50%, because they are housewives, they are not working, they are using it only for coming in and going out. So please consider this request. My second suggestion is, you mentioned that when you want to apply for an expatriate quota, the Ministry of Interior people should come and visit the genuineness of these applications. I suggest that there are recognized private organizations like MAN, Chamber of Commerce, NECA, and other organizations. If they are a member of these organizations, this verification can be avoided, because MAN, they don't admit anybody unless you are a manufacturer. Similarly, if you are in pharmaceutical sector, you must be a member of the PNG MAN or Indian Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Industry. If they are members of these groups, I think you can take it that they are genuine applicants. So this is my suggestion, sir. The third one is that I have been in Nigeria, as I mentioned, 45 years. I have invested, more than 15 billion in pharmaceutical sector. I have built a permanent status in this country. Can you please help us? This is given to in other countries. These are done. If you go to Ghana and if you invest, you are certainly given a permanent resident visa, so that we will have more commitment towards this country. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is My name is Dr. Matthew John. I have 3 questions, but one is asked by Mr. Wadis, is Sarfak for the accompanying wives. He has already asked for it. My second question is, the visa on arrival, as I understand, it was reciprocal to some of the countries. So my question is this visa on arrival is applicable to all countries, irrespective of the reciprocity? That is number 2. Number 3, sir, this kind of meeting should be arranged after 3 months of. So visa on arrival, is it linked to any reciprocal countries? Like some countries are not reciprocating. Is it applicable to all countries in the world, all citizens in the world? This visa on arrival. That's my second question. The first was, what is already answered, the accompanying wives should be charged less. Number 3rd is to you, sir. We should arrange this kind of a meeting after 3 months of 1st August, because the challenges we will face at that time, when we make the application online, what is going to happen? Like we all know the companies, we are applying for PAR, and then the bank is asking, the PAR is applied, and it is in the banking system for 15 days. The bank official is asking, do you know anybody in CBN? Can you talk to them? So this kind of situation, we should be avoiding. So we know how to interact. After a few months, we should sit down and see the challenges, what we are facing soon. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, sir, we want to take the answer first or we go ahead? Never keep a lady waiting.
It's my first question. Can we apply for e-visa for the expatriate that is trying to come in? 1, can we apply? We are working relation and invite an expatriate for a meeting. Can we apply on his behalf? That's my first question. Then number 2, how long should application for nationalization for our expatriate take? How long should it take? Then number 3 questions. While we are applying for renewal of quota, and in the process, the first one expired in the process, what should we do? We are applying for a new quota for renewal, and at the end of it expires. What should we do as an information?
Thank you. Sorry, the palm sec is still in the secretary. Thank you. The first question spoke about how long it takes to renew quotas. As I said, we're trying to walk the whole process. And we're walking the whole process is about ensuring that there's efficiency. So normally, I think that at the moment, like he rightly said, we should draw the line. There are a lot of things that we actually need to clean up. That's the truth, And we will ensure all the systems that we have now, we're already working around the clock to look at critical justifications. So I just give you an example the other time. When somebody needs an expatriate quota for a driver, but going forward, I think realistically we should be able to target about 3 weeks to be able to get quota approved realistically. And I also want to give this advice. And the advice is your renewal, you knew that your quota was going to expire. Let's call it age what it is.
That's why I did it early, not expire.
You knew your quota was going to expire. You did your application in January. For me, if your quota is going to expire probably within the next 2 months, let's be realistic. I think I'm not blaming you. I'm talking of going forward. All right. Please, let me see her face. I need to see her facial expression. I'm not blaming you, but like what I said, I want you to believe that this is arguably the first time in a long time that the ministry is coming to have this heart-to-heart discussion. So some mistakes must have been made, but like what I said, if your quota will expire, please, at least give us about 2 months. Because number one, I need to verify that that quota is still within. 2, I also need to verify and you to justify to me why you've not been able to bring a Nigerian to do that thing, why you've not been able to have knowledge transfer. So there are questions to be asked, and there are there are answers to be given to the provider before we just do. Because the whole idea, like when people apply for passport, I've seen that a lot of people will apply for passport. There are 1 or 2 documents that are not intact. And the next thing they will just go on social media, my passport has taken 6 months. Then you apply, it does not mean you will be given. If you don't meet certain conditions and criteria. So if you apply for quota, that you need quota, it's not automatic that I give you. But what becomes a problem is if I don't communicate a decision to you. That's where inefficiency comes. And I think that is the worry here, that you are in the limbo. You don't understand what is going on. And that's what we're trying to change through this system. So ideally, our target is the quota within 3 weeks. We should be able, because now everything is being automated. Because when you bring the quota down, it is still manual with immigration. The ministry will need to go to immigration paper, immigration will come back, all these things are still, so the system we have developed now, the expected administration means that once the ministry does its own and needs input of immigration, it goes to the queue of the officer in immigration real time. The person does the job, sends it back to the ministry approves. So it reduces the time of taking paper, passing paper from one office to the other. So we are targeting 3 weeks by the grace of God. But with what you said, we are already, myself and the PAPSEC, we're already in the field, because let me tell you the truth, a lot of quota might end up being cancelled. I'm being sincere with you. I'm telling you with what I'm saying, a lot might be cancelled. Because in my conscience, as I said, the quota for waitress was actually granted. There is no way as minister that quota will stand and will cancel it. So we do respect, because we want to do what is right. So, madam, please, I assure you, we'll go back, we'll look at the whole system, and you will see more efficiency. But going forward, after the 1st of May, let's target 3 weeks for other issues. And if you want to apply for quota, please give us the benefit of about 2 months ahead, so that we have enough time to do our due diligence. Then, yes, Nigeria, okay, yes. Nigeria, it's part of I deliberately couldn't get into this point of the whole issue of people cutting corners, having to bribe somebody before. If you have invested in Nigeria and you are contributing to Nigeria and employing Nigerians and you are not doing capital flight and you are helping Nigeria, you shouldn't lobby to get what you are due. The law says if you have spent 10 years, 15 years in Nigeria, and of course we can track your contribution, your good character. So there are basic requirements. So once you meet those requirements through the system, I don't need to see anybody to get that done. So it's part of the solution. Citizenship is part of the solution that's also coming. But because I just thought this is business environment, that's why I didn't delve into that. So from 1st of May, you can go to the Ministry of Interior's website and be able to fill that, then upload all necessary documents, then we take it from there. But as I said, Nigeria welcomes people like you. You are investing. Sir?
65 years in Nigeria.
65
years.
Whoa. Yeah, no, on a more serious note, on a lighter note, for me, I don't understand why ancestors are still looking there. After 65 years, but don't worry, you just apply and we follow through the process.
Industry, I put it together. What industry, I put it idea together.
So don't worry, sir. We'll do the needful. Then HRM, what assure? Okay, yes, it's that one for assurance and data protection. Definitely, you know, data protection is very key. It's very, very key. We will not come here and expose your data. I will speak to people about it, but of course, there are key considerations for that. Then Chief was you, NFR, can there be a reduction in sponsors fees? Well, that is not something that we have considered. Because having spouses, right? And spouses fees is not something that we have considered. And when you look at it on the more serious, asking people to pay separate of 2,000, let us, as a country, also know our words. We do expect. And I'm very sorry, you know, where I need to shift ground, I shift ground. I could remember the first proposal we gave to and the OPS. I mean, OPS. I think the final price we all came to across was less than 50% of what we gave. Because what we wanted to do, looking at parity and what I mean, the other private sector, justifications on issue of economy, but we decided that these prices will not be reviewed for another 3 years, right? We get that commitment. Let's have stability. So, you know, before we can sit down a price now, I sincerely think, because let's call it straight as straight. As a country, we have infrastructure that needs to be provided and there are things that needs to be done. So for me, it's not an option that I actually considered, and I'm not promising its consideration. We'll see what we can do, but I'm not promising. The business facilities, yes, I agree with you. For us to partner more with NECA, with MAN, with NACIMA in terms of validation of yes, we also look at that protocol, you know, and see how we can actually work on that. I don't think that's an issue. Then permanent resident visa be considered for long-stay business. And of course, we already consider that. Yeah, I mean, if you have applied, I think we already consider that if you stayed long and have added value, of course, we consider that. It's a major consideration for us. You know, it's a major consideration for us. But we have to also say this, that you have invested and you have stayed long, yes, but we must also do thorough background check. You know, so there are a lot of background checks that needs to be done. Then okay, economy-wise to be checklist, suggesting we review after 3 months of reporting. I agree with you, that's why. The VOA, we are not segregating. We're not segregating, and we don't want to put single scripts with a single brush. So we want to deal with individuals with regards to VOA. It is your record, it is your antecedent, it is your background that determines maybe you get it or not. Then can a company apply for a market quota on behalf of, in terms, of course, it is the company that has applied for a market quota and for the setback. No. Oh, for the inside, no. The person that is coming will have to apply because he takes responsibility for the information. The person is not yet a staff, but a limitation letter will be uploaded, which we will verify from the company. Okay, so that's the way it works. We'll go to UK now to go and do the company is really from you feel before because we take responsibility for what is there. Then what to do if a startup code expires while awaiting approval? Well, we're trying to stop that because that is an aberration. We're trying to stop that, and that's why we are automating the system to create efficiency. And we hope that in 3 weeks, which is 15 working days, timeline can be met once more record. And we are glad that you please apply 2 months ahead so that we can have enough room to be able to do what we need to do. Thank you.
Please, we'll reach the limit to questions. Any other question, just send it to the email. Because we'll take just one question.
Thank you, DG. My question has to do with understudy. You see an engineer in some organizations, and the understudy is a good technician. You see an understudy that is not relevant to the role. So I'm suggesting we have guidelines for the quota stroke. It should make a lot of sense so that immigration will also torment us with documents we don't understand. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your excellent presentation. My name is Elijah Luagari from Dangote Industries Limited, precisely fertilizer. My question is 2 in 1. As regards the online, the automation that is now coming to be, I want to say, if there is a mistake during the process and you have submitted, is the platform going to give the applicant the opportunity to edit and make corrections? Second question, will there be applicable fees to that or to the automation? Somebody should apply on after submission, they will now find out that there is a mistake. Will there be permission for the applicant to edit online and make corrections? Will there be applicable fees for that? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olada Ibrahim from Deloitte. It's not even a question. So, I just want us to clarify on the EEM. Okay, the last presentation around it has been suspended to allow for further stakeholders.
Sorry, the EEM remains suspended for now.
Yes, so because we've had your investigation, your meeting, we were asked to provide evidence of registration for a year. The House of Representatives Committee on Interior.
Well, I think I don't think we should bring up this issue here. We need to go before or stakeholders engagement from media. So and two, the ministry gave an information the last time they suspended. And I think we've not given any other contrary information. So I think we should dwell on the last message from the ministry.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So on the temporary work permits, since these will now be introduced, would there still be a need for the pre-approval? And then, is there an option for multiple entry for temporary work permit?
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Thank you for the insightful sensitization. My question is with regards to, my name is Temple Williams from Overland Airways Limited. My question is regards to the expatriate comprehensive insurance. I just want to know how much will the premium payable be? You mentioned it's going to be annual and tied to SEPA. So is there specific as to the amount of people in insurance so that we just freeze up for now? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Simon Abraham from LPG and appreciate Mr. Neka for this platform to discuss the expatriate report. My question is about the filing of monthly expatriate returns online and physically. Also, is there a way to unify and only file online, because the effects of filing physically when we're also filing like just like the duplication of the compliance requirements. Also, I want to ask about the filing or in terms of the expired voltage in terms of the expired scooter that is still coming up on the online or the portal. So is there a way of removing it so that it will cause confusion while we are filing monthly?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. First of all, thank you very much for this lovely initiative. My name is Chinonso, Senior Manager with the Global Immigration Services at EY. I'd like to ask a follow-up question to the person PWP. When you had mentioned that the temporary work permit was free, but it's now going to be posted, I was a bit confused. Are we saying that the temporary work permit approval is now going to be costed? Or are we saying, okay, you can go ahead and get it, but when you do come in, depending on how long you work, for less than 6 months, you're going to be prorated in terms of the separate amount. So that's a follow-up. That's not the original question. So the original question was pertaining to the EQ and SEPA. So the SEPA, I've always wondered why it's denominated in dollars. It's a Nigerian facility, so please, I'm curious as to why it's denominated in dollars and not in Naira. And when you answered, responding to someone else for the expatriate quota process, you said it was going to be automated. Presently now, what we have is a double-phase approach. The first one is an automated approach, and then it's manual before you get the original expatriate quota approval. Are we saying that the second phase is now eliminated and it's just going to be an automated process? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Excellency. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Excellency, for your wonderful time with us. My question is regarding the landing and exiting ticket. That is all going to be online. The cases where the online and the people can work at the TT, and maybe the charge because of a lot of issues going on. Is there a second option for the travelers to do it manually because they don't want to miss the ticket because the online is not working? Thank you,
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olayin Kawunga. I've met Honorable Minister several times. I work with Seplat Energy. My question is this. At the moment, we discover that there is duplication between Nigerian Content Development Board and what Nigerian Immigration offers. If you're bringing expatriate name into the country, you have the process. Just like you said, you cannot, if you get approval from Nigerian Immigration, from the Ministry of Interior, and you take the approval to the National Content Board, the National Content Board will tell you that you are meant to get the approval first from the board before you go to immigration. And it's getting us confused that why is it that we don't have Nigerian immigration as number one? Because most of those documents are Ministry of Interior documents. But under oil and gas, what they're saying is all the expatriate you want to bring in, we want to see why they are coming. Some of them are under 5% investment interest. Some of them are probably we meet with them for a particular position. And when they come in for that particular position, we know that after 2 years, understudy must take over. In my company, we don't have any expatriate except the CEO. Every other expatriate is gone because we recognize and we follow the rules of understudies. And all of our understudies are Nigerian and they've taken over.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say now is, in case we need to bring in somebody, do we need to rely on the Ministry of Interior, or we still have to go to the NCDF to get approval, take the same approval or get approval for Thank you so much. My name is Bukim and I work with KPMG. I'm using my notes, so this just to go and I do have some recommendations, and then I'll take the one question as approved by, as recommended by the DB. The data exchange between the agencies would really help drive a lot of collaboration, but I do know that would also mean that there will be need for investment in infrastructure, because people will need technology to access the data and work with them. So I trust that the ministry is looking at empowering immigration officers across the various offices in Nigeria to have the right tools to be able to actually do the work. They may also need to be trained on how to use those computers and other devices. Now, the presentations have been made. We trust that that document will be made available soon so that people are aware of those changes that will happen and that they can proactively prepare and make the adjustments going forward. And then I'd like to talk about the SI administration system document. I believe it should be codified so that it's not just in the head. I saw that people are taking pictures, but I believe that it would be better for a document that people can access easily just by a click on the site, and they can download it, understand it, and invite the issues in there. And then they can then respond appropriately, because people need to understand the issues before they can actually reach out for clarification. Timelines, you did say we should give it 2 months, but I believe to even help you, it will be better to have timelines clearly stated for the various categories of applications, and then that will guide the various levels of approval, and so people can do the work. And if that they don't then do the work, I do remember the EU Executive Order 001, which talks about automated approval, although the practicalities of that is also still in question. But I think if the timelines are clearly stated, that will help a great deal. And now to the question. Okay, just for the question, there was an issue you raised when you started thinking about. Can we go to the question? Okay, I'll get the question now. So my question is this: with the e-visa impact approvals issued prior to 1st of May 2025, so the approvals that people get maybe 2 weeks using the regular view, which is still running. And let's say somebody has that approval, which is valid for 2 weeks, and they want to come into Nigeria on 2nd of May, for example, will they still be able to fly into Nigeria? I'd like you to shed some light. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sir, Honorable Minister and other executives. My name is Benjamin Penny, I want to fly with Nigeria PLC. I want to ask you about concerned issues, sir. Whether the approval letter from CG will be abolished or still continue to be approval from CG. The secondly, if the activity don't have to call for an installation, take a longer time to be completed, is it possible to do extension for them like before, like buying e-pass, selling back, to do additional 60 days for them? Do they need to complete their assignment before they leave? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I think your first question is need to have on the study, whether appropriate role for the study. Yes, I was not part of what I said in my presentation, because the whole aim of this is for us to do what countries like Saudi Arabia, what they've been able to do, knowledge transfer. That's the whole issue. And for us not to be in perpetual, living perpetual ignorance and exploitation. So there's a new model of work plan for on the study, and that's what we want to take very seriously. We want to be able to come up in like a year to tell you that, oh, last year, these were the number of Nigerians that are taking over. We must be able to start creating jobs and, of course, also knowledge transfer. So I agree with you, because part of my research, while we were on board, myself and Pansec and CG were discussing, we realized that so many companies that we said, why are you not having a lot of the study? No, we train these people, they still not get it. At the end of the day, we look at it. You're an oil and gas, for example, you need a reservoir engineer, and the guy who's doing the job is a graduate petroleum engineer, reservoir engineer, and you are bringing an understudy that is school facts to understudy a reservoir engineer. So at the end of the day, he's never going to get it. That's the truth. So we want to ensure that, okay, if this is the expatriate field or the qualifications for the expatriate, there should be qualification for the understudy, such that at least knowledge transfer will be easy. So we're already working on that, and we will release the guidelines very soon in that regard. Then Ms. Dangote spoke about a mistake made on submission. Well, to us, the key issue is you will have an opportunity when you fill in your form, you have an opportunity for preview. You look at the form, you preview it, you okay it before you submit. So if you submit, for me, I will not support you recalling that form back, because it's not that you just feel, if you make a mistake in the process of application, you can go back, yes. And if you finish, there's a preview that you must go through all over again for you to be sure. Once you are sure and you click that you have not these goals, if there is an error, then you need to go all over again. That's the truth, because you cannot, that's carelessness, because if you make mistakes, go back, correct it. You need to go through the items before the final submission. It's not when we have started processing and we have started working on it, you not say, oh, I made a mistake, call back. No, don't think we should encourage that. Temporary work permit, is there need for pre-approval? No, that's what we're trying to take out of the system, because the way it is today, I tell you this, and I'm not proud to say it. It's difficult for airlines to tell you the number that they have approved. How many TWPs do we have approved? It's difficult. It's manual, no record. Who is the person? How do you migrate? How do you even align the temporary, the physical TWP, even with background checks and etc. It becomes a big difficult. So we are taking over. That is the issue of the pre-approval. You can apply before the person comes and you get it in record time. That's not a problem. Then on the issue of temporary work permit, it's payment, it's going to be online payment. Because when the money goes to government needs to know what if you are paying cash and paying to agent and doing this, and the government does not know how much government is making, and it's government that is providing the services. So online, just like you pay, you're going to be paying separate online, you pay your visa online. Please, you can also pay your ticket of the UP online, and let's just all the things that can entice corruption, that can encourage let's try to reduce it. If you are still paying cash or paying through somebody or whatever, that would be a reason for people. I'm not saying my officers are doing that, but for the little bad ones, it will be a reason to hold you to ransom, knowing that when we give you problem, you will come and pay. And when you give us money, we will do. So we want to reduce that. People should do business in Nigeria without knowing anybody, and get your approval as it is done in all other parts of the world. So let's open the system up and avoid. Then why is SEPA denominated in dollars? Yes, it's denominated in dollars, but it's charged in naira. Let's get that straight. It's paid in naira, but denominated at a very rate. Because just imagine if SEPA, because like what I said, let's call a spade what it is. Every job, as much as I always need foreigners to come, but not at the expense of the interest of Nigerians. So it's a job of a Nigerian. So if it's 350, then $1 was 350, that was 700,000. By now, we still be talking. It's not what our country. Sometimes it can be painful to the employers of labor, but we must look at national interest first. That is, so it's not, nobody says pay dollars. To the best of my knowledge, and the solution is you can pay this Naira paid at CBN, what we call rate. So, there was spoken to the last exported quota. Okay, yes, everything is happening to the E. You don't need to go and be submitting physical for do with that, because even I don't have never go back to, I don't have that time. So even your expatriate returns, what we are developing for you to be able to file it online, and we're able to do what we need to do. So we're trying to say bye to what's it called, to paper, to manual, whatever, because you can't tell somebody to send to file online at the same time still being paper. It doesn't make sense. It's one, you take one now. I mean, like my mother would say, my buy because you have to make your choice based on if you want efficiency or not. So since we have decided to go for efficiency, just stay in your office. Like in the UK, I'll tell you, when I was doing my research, I even realized that if somebody, an expatriate, comes in on the sponsorship of a company, the day the person resumes office, the company, the HR, will notify on the portal the home office. The home office knows. If the person is going on leave, the what's called home office knows the border control, they know. So if you have stayed, like people that will just go for sponsorship, to spend 5 years or so that they get NIR, leave of indefinite resident. It is true that they know that you were not in the country between this time and this time. So the companies respond. It's interactive between government and the government. That's the way it's done in the UK. So for us, as a country, we must simplify that and now start to hold companies responsible. Let it be known in the UK, you can only report a violator who is whatever, but the person you find, it's not the guy, it's the company. And if somebody comes on a quota or you issue a setback based on it, that is why now what we want to do for setback, if once you apply for setback, whatever, we will set that office with us. It is a quota company, it is quota trafficking. You can't have quota in PZ and go and use it in calculating. You cannot. It's illegal by virtue of the law because you were not giving quota. It was the company that was giving quota. So we must, and that is, we are going to hold companies more responsible. Let companies be answerable for their employees. You brought them into the country. So it is your responsibility as a company to ensure that the people you vouch for, because that is why in the UK it's called certificate of sponsorship. You are the one sponsoring. You are the guarantor. It is not the expatriate that I know. It is you as a business entity that I know. So you must know who you have recommended to me. So the companies in the new scheme will be at the center. So that if an expatriate behaves in a company and once you online, let us know. Automatically, integration will do the job. If the company say they don't want you in Nigeria again, they don't want you to do their job again, there you go. It is the company that employed you. That is the truth. You will not come and say you are working for A. All of a sudden, you are going to be working for B, and you are not. No. The day you leave a company, for me to be in another company, there must be a different quota. Because based on that company. So please, I think it's important that companies begin to own the rights. Quota is the right of a company, not the right of an individual. Please let us understand that. It is the right of a company. It is the company that has quota. No individual has quota. Yeah, is issuance going to be online? Now, yes, it's going to be online. How do we solve online failure? Yes, when Zubina was making the presentation, he spoke about offline solution for it. We understand its peculiarities. You know, the good thing is that I always say that some of us came from IT background. So when you are thinking, like what they say in IT security, when you're developing a system, make sure you develop the system for the best experience, but hoping for the worst situation. That's it. You expect the worst, but you hope for the best. Yes, hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst situation. So you must look at end to end about that. Now, before I finish this, I'll go to the next question. The last question about the insurance. The key issue for us, I said it, and I thought why we didn't go into the prices of everything. I think NECA and the organized private sector already has all the prices of the revised price for these, the revised price for that, and for everything. And we sat down together, to look at, okay, for personal liability insurance, this is what? For repatriation. If you say drop money, there is no way we drop ticket, logistics, processing, and whatever, it's not going to be less than 10,000. But we cannot, at this stage, ask any business to pay 10,000. That's why what we did was we prorated it. If you are on TWA, I think it's TWP. Okay, yes, before I even go to that, sorry, now mention it. I don't think that was touched. Somebody asked maybe there's going to be renewal or something. There are two types of TWP. There is TWP single entry, which is for 90 days, 3 months. There's also for 6 months, which is 180 days. Then there is setback, which is 1 year. The TWP of 180 days is multiple. You can come in, you can go out, work, and whatever. Because some of these people, their families might not be in Nigeria. And you cannot say you must be stuck here for 180 days without being able. You must understand this. So TWP is going to be 2, 3 months, 6 months. The 3 months is simple entry. The 6 months is multiple entry. That's the way it is. So now to the insurance. We, for TWPs, I think it's $500 or something. I can't remember the exact amount. No, I think it's 5. I can't remember. I think it's $5. And I think for 1 year it's like I can't remember. But all the prices, A to Z, had been given. But I think it's $500. Yes, I think so. I think it is. Both the general insurance and the repatriation insurance, everything is there. So that is that about that. Then duplication of, there is no duplication from the question Settled asked. Let me tell you, when you apply to local content does not issue you what's it called? Expatriate quota. What local content does is to do a technical proof. Look at, do you really need it? Because when that sector is a specialized sector, and a matter of their laws, they look at it. They now recommend to me, when I say me, I mean Ministry of Interior, to say this company has applied for this and this and this. This is our recommendation. Kindly issue expatriate quota of this amount, this person, this position, this number, and etc. So, local content, what they are doing is their legal rule. And I don't think we should discourage that. They are like the first line of like check before an approval stage, which is the ministry. That is what the Local Content Act talks Logic Act of 2010 gives them such powers. So that is it about local content. So it's not that local content issues, they don't issue. They only recommend to the ministry for. Then what is the rightful channel MI first on local content? Local content recommends to us. Then we issue approval. But you apply to us for ideally, which is not what has been happening. But what ought to be is not what it is. What ought to be, which is what we're trying to do now, is to ensure that when local content, what is it called? When local content sends to us, they send us paper. But with the solution we are building now, we are giving local content a leg into that, a view, and for them to be able to interface with us. But for us to issue you the expected quota, we must have your application. But we can only approve your application when local content has recommended you that this company should have this and then we will be able to approve that. The KPMG, I want to thank you for your wonderful contributions and thank you so much for the pieces of advice and we are trying to centralize a lot of our decision processes, and we believe we reduce the pressure of the private sector. And for instance, and I'll tell you, I personally do not believe that the review of monthly returns should be done at the state level. I'm sorry, I don't believe so. My sincere opinion, and that's part of what is bringing corruption. Because when they review, they will not go and be told gates or go and I'm not saying not all my officers have fantastic officers, but a few bad eggs, you know. So what we are trying to do is to have a center where we review all these things. It is when there is red flag that the technical people that are trained to review these auditors, they look at your reviewing your return is like auditing the return. You must have special skills, well trained to do it. So if we now see red flags, then they can now send signal to the state command to go and look into this, that. Because we must also give you the time for you to be able to do things that are productive and not coming to disturb you at every point in time. So we are trying to rework the whole process of the review. Then VOA that has been appointed. Yes, the VOA has, thankfully, the visa on arrival has lifespan of 2 weeks, right? So it means that even if they issued you VOA on the last day, which is on the 30th of April, it means that the VOA will expire by 13th of May. So what I'm saying is that from 1st to 13th, we'll have to run the system concurrently. Because somebody that has gone through the pain of getting the VOA, you can't tell the person to go back and go and apply again. So the two will run concurrently. But from that 14, if you bring VOA, it's fake. Because NI cannot issue VOA from the 1st of May. So it means that for the 2 weeks, from the 1st to 13th, you can still use your VOA into Nigeria. Then CG's approval will still be valid. There is nothing like CG's approval anymore. E-visa, we have been part of the buildings when the KPMG, when my brother from KPMG spoke the last time, we didn't just arrive at this point. It's not accident. Immediately I became Minister of Interior, we did an audit of the whole system. That's why you saw that the first thing we did was to build a data center. We built, when we built data center, we built our redundancy site, we built our communication infrastructure, we built our visa approval center, we built our vetting center. We had done all these things before this. So there is an office, a building, part of the building Mr. President commissioned in December. It's called the Visa Approval Center. So there are immigration officers. I think the total number was 250 people that we trained. We have trained them in forensic, in document management. We've done a lot. We've done a lot with foreign international organizations such as the UNOTC, We have done a lot with the United Nations to train them, EFC, a lot of training has gone into it. So it is these people that will be doing shifts of 8 hours. So it means that the Visa Approval Center is running 24/7. They are the people that will feel, they are the people that will approve and you get it in your way for the visa. If it is the regular visa, they will review, they will raise up concerns, send it to the attaché. The attaché will interview you and issue. Because the problem we have now in our visa administration system is that when you apply for visa abroad, you apply, it's handed over to the attaché. That attaché is the one to receive, is the one to vet, is the one to approve, is the one to issue. So it's a single point of failure. So once he compromises, it means that is it. No country does that. This is a country of 230 million people, border space of 4,047 kilometers. That is not small. We must take it seriously. So we have infrastructure ready, and we want to assure you that with your cooperation, we are sure we will succeed with this. The reason for this engagement is because we know, as M.K. Abiola will say, no man claps with one hand. We need to clap with both hands, private sector, and of course, government. We need your cooperation, and I also want to end by saying the penalty is very key. Even if I charge you $1 million for violating my law, why you still violate my law? So from 1st of August, anybody that does not take advantage of the amnesty period of 3 months, then from 1st of August, penalty will come. But if you take advantage of that window to regularize, we will not charge you a cover. Because the whole idea is not to punish you. The whole idea is for you also to regularize. Let's know the people that are actually in Nigeria. Let us even have your record. Let's be same people that we are. So from 1st of August, if you pick you, it's $15 per day. And if you have spent more than 3 months, 5 years, then you don't need violators in Nigeria. And if you have spent more than 1 year without coming forward during the amnesty period, I beg, don't come to Nigeria again for life. Day your day, make your day. I mean, so please, we want to partner with you. The details of the whole price is here. And let me end by especially thanking NECA once again on the organized private sector of Nigeria. I really thank you because let me tell you, when we were trying to find solutions, these people are doing a thankless job. I'm telling you, when we were finding solutions to the issue of repatriation and personal liability, you know, in the present Nigeria today cannot be less than 10,000. We put head, how do we solve this problem so that we not hit the companies? Because you cannot expect repatriation to be funded for taxpayers' money. That is wickedness. Money in the countries where our expatriates are coming from, they are using their own taxpayers' money to build roads, to build electricity, to provide schools. You don't want me to be using my own to deport. That does no economic benefits to Nigeria. And the law says you are the one to pay. So we had to sit down to create an innovative way, which is the insurance, to take care of this. So I really want to thank the leadership of the organized private sector. It's a privilege associating with you. It's a privilege partnering with you. And I want to assure you, whenever you call, we will listen to you. And whatever your concerns are, we will patriotically address them. Because we know that for you, as we always say, it's about responsible business. Doing business in a responsible and patriotic manner. I thank you for listening. I thank you for this privilege, and God bless you.
Honorable Minister, as you ended on a good note, you say, as we always say, it's about responsible business.
But I also want to say, as you said earlier, that you don't keep a lady waiting. There's a lady that says she wants to ask questions. I think she should write. She said the minister said you don't keep a lady waiting. So I want to call the last others that have questions. I really want to. You can be nice. If we can't control the time from the beginning, then we try to control it from the end. If you have any other question, I will take on behalf of myself and my colleague, we'll take personal responsibility to make sure that you get a response from the necessary officers in the next 24 hours. So write the question and send it to write with your name and email and phone number, and be rest assured to take personal responsibility that you get a response. So by the discretion of the minister, we just go to the last question. Just one question.
All right, thank you very much. Minister, thank you for today's session. I thank you to Mecca. So my question is very simple. If you are going the route of automation, so that means everything should be automated. And that means when officers come for investigations, the error of saying, I want to see physical passports should no longer be in place. They should go online, check your status. If it's valid, there's no error of saying, bring physical passports. So when they come in, the only thing they're asking for investigation is, I want to take a passport and go with it. So I'm saying that for this to happen, maybe there'll be like a circular to that effect, so that they will know that the only minister has said so that they will comply with it. And finally, when you have all these things in place, there's what we call enforcement process. Why do people not break laws abroad? Because the system will catch. So we need to have a robust enforcement process in place that make people know that come 1st of August, when you violate the law, there'll be consequences, not just by amount, but by action. Thank you.
Thank you. Even when you think you've ended, the woman will always have the power to bring you. I thank you for that. As part of the solution we created as a model, which is the model we call status verification system. It's part of our manual model, TWP, that just want to call it. We have a model called the penalty management system. That when you pay penalty, don't pay anybody by hand. So if there's a penalty, pay it online, because the system generates the which reflects in your record when you are trying to get your exit card. So we've linked everything together. So there is a status verification. All immigration is once they have either your passport or your visa, once they put it there, all the details will come. So if there is need for prosecution, they might have no choice but to hold your passport. All right, so that you don't you won't jump back. You understand? So, but if it is for the purpose of verification, I can tell you there's a robust solution which is called the Expert Status Verification System. So the area where we go, which record what we want to do is what we call proactive policing. We don't want to be reactive. We are not coming to. We must have had info. Once you see us, what is done abroad. If you see immigration enter, I work in the UK. If immigration enters an office, you know there is 90% chance that there will be a violation. They don't just come and like sit there. No. So it is based on finding solutions. So when they come, they're asking you questions with regards to the system that. And of course, secondly, it is not just only information from the system, because there is no one size fits all. So that tomorrow you will not see immigration in your office and you say the minister say you cannot come. They can come. Because if there is credible intelligence, for instance, I got a credible intelligence yesterday about the company. I won't mention this, and this, and this. And at the highest level, we have credible intelligence. So you have to understand that immigration is not a civil service. Immigration is a paramilitary. They have the power to arrest, they have the power to investigate, they have the power to prosecute. So, and just like any law enforcement agency, they have the right to come into your presence, and which is my last talk before I go and have my seat. Please, the CG has complained to me that so many officers, they embarrass immigration officers, they don't even allow them access. It is an offense against the state for you to stop a law enforcement agency from doing its legitimate job. If they are not going out of jurisdiction, it's a different ballgame which you can escalate through this collaboration. We are setting up a help desk. You can reach out to the OPTF, because what we saw before was that there was no real-time relationship with NECA and the private sector and immigration. But with this now, if you take your being resorted or you pass it through through NECA, then they get it in touch with the committee, because that committee is headed by a controller. That's it. And all they do with that committee is simulations. That's what they do morning till night, 24/7. They are not doing any other job other than if there are complaints coming from anywhere. We want you to be our watchdog. So we want to be responsible. We want to be responsive. So, but please, to our companies, do not stop our officers from doing their job. We will not take it lightly. Yes, that's so. So both immigration and of course the people coming from the CIA. So I believe with you, we will do our job. We will respect you. We won't come and abuse the privilege that the law. It's a privilege. We must not abuse it. But please, let us respect the instrumentality of the state. Thank you.
President, please. We'll be leaving here in the next 5 minutes. Permit me to call on the Director General of the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Mines African, Mines and Creek, NACIMA, who also hosts the Secretariat of UPS for the closing remarks. Please.
The Honorable Minister and the leadership of the Parastatals under the Interior Ministry, particularly the CG of City Immigration, my brother DGs of the UPS and bodies, Mr. Senator, the country of man, the Okuta, Mercy, and particularly our host UPS and TT here, Mr. Wallace Mark Oyelinde. We say we appreciate everyone that is here to listen to this very useful engagement again at the backdrop of the initial one we had in Lagos. In between, there were meetings in Abuja to further the detailed technical processes to arrive at compromise figures, given the different issues that needed to be attended to. I will stay clear of vote of thanks. The PG of MECA will take. I will also stay clear of technicalities. That has been dealt with enough. But again, as I said the last time, and we will repeat again, that it will be nice if every officer of government or every department of government takes this engagement approach in dealing with issues.
Yes, please.
We seriously appreciate the minister for this approach, and we also appreciate the host vision, which is NECA, and particularly under the leadership of the DG, for showing an excellent level of dedication, passion, commitment to issues that could ease business practice in Nigeria. So we thank I'm particularly saying this because the DG of NECA will not likely come to the bank itself. It's taking the road of bank. So it's my duty before he comes up here for me to thank him. We believe that this interaction will be ongoing. I think somebody alluded to that. And it is useful for us to continue to pursue controversial or gray issues so that we all understand where government is coming from and all cooperate so that nobody is saying that he's not in the picture, he doesn't know why this has become, and he will not be part of it. If you fall foul of the law will deal with you. In saying that, I thank you once again, everybody that is here, and thank you for engaging the OPSA. I will continue to work with you. Thank you.
DG, vote of thanks, Honorable Minister, we really want to thank you. You've been awesome, you've been amazing in the context of this engagement. I also want to thank the PS. Thank you very much for coming with His Excellency. I know when you first saw us in the office, we were like data turbulence Israel. But we consider that we are not that troublesome, but we believe in what we believe in. And CG, thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate you. And then the team that came with you, thank you very much. I want to thank my colleagues in UPS, DG Man, MNI, thank you very much. DG Nasima, DG much for also joining us. I want to thank council members of NECA that have made time to come to join us, council members of MAN, council members of SIMA, Nasi, my colleague that coordinated, I did the MC. You know, maybe the MC should be a title also now. Thank the MC for doing that good job, and colleagues in the secretariat, Thompson, Nike, Debola, Tuande, all colleagues in the secretariat that came down to coordinate this event. Thank you very much for the role that you've all played. And those quickly, if you have questions, I said issues, maximize this helpdesk at neca.org.ng. Be rest assured that we will escalate to the necessary contact person to deal with. And since it's NECA House, my council can give me query if I didn't make this announcement. It's not enough. So we have 3 or 4 very important programs that we think we should know. The first is the Nigerian Airport. It's the biggest advocacy platform in this country. The 4th edition will be holding in Abuja from the 4th to the 6th, or for the 26th to 27th of June 2026, 25th to 26th of June at Abuja Continental Hotel. Well, His Excellency also joining us. Will be coming for the and all these individuals, they all come. The Minister for Industry will be speaking, Pepe Didi will be speaking, Chairman FRS will be speaking, Chairman Presidential Committee will be, all these individuals will be speaking. We want you to log it in your diary, 25 to 26 of June in Abuja. The second program will also be running, we'll be running this with the EFCC next week, Wednesday. It's a KSS, a knowledge sharing session on tackling the menace of employment fraud in the private sector. The employment fraud has become a key issue, not only for us as employers, but also for government. So we'll be with the chairman of the EFCC, we'll both be speaking on tackling the issue of employment fraud, so that we continue to play our part in the context of sanitizing the ecosystem where we operate. Also in May, we'll be running a job fair, job and employability fair. Team Future Ready, harnessing digital space for career success and employability. Perhaps we have young ones that are still looking for jobs that need employability skills. Please also join us on this 5 to 9. It's going to be 5 to 9 will be the soft skill that will be held online, but the physical job fair will be held in NECA House here
on the 15th of May. Please also join us. And the last be running in this quarter will be an MSME fair, also happening on the 6th of May in Neck House. Are you an MSME? Please join us and be part of this very, very important summit organizing MSME for economic growth ability. And if you are here, you are not in the ecosystem of the organized private sector. In fact, if you are not a NECA member here, you are operating precariously. You are operating precariously. So I want to encourage you, our colleagues are outside, the barcode is outside. If you want more information on how to become a member of NECA. After becoming a member of NECA, you can consider becoming a member of any other OPS body. So thank you once again for joining us. Even as take us to the last of the protocol before we all leave.
All right, thank you, DG. Please a round of applause. I'm sure it's been an eventful and exciting session. So before we close, we would like to take the group picture, and I'll call on the Minister, the Permanent Secretary, the Controller General, and the DGs of the OP to please come forward and let's have the group pictures. Well, we have a few announcements. Before you leave, we have refreshments for you. It's at the back. Oh, but for orderliness, we'll have mics that will go through the door to my right, and my colleagues are there waiting to hand you over your refreshment, you leave. And for NECA members that are yet to receive their certificates, we have it at the secretariat. Please use this opportunity to pick up your certificate before you leave. We take a group picture with the Minister. Thank you all for being part of the program and enjoy the rest of the day. The controller of the immigration can also join the picture. The Director of Citizenship and Business, please join us. Okay. Okay, so the Assistant Controller, Zone A, should also join us up on the stage. The special advisors to the should also join us. Okay. The Governing Council members of NECA and NECMAN and the OPS that are around can also join us up stage for the picture. Thank you. Governing council members can come up, join us on stage, take the picture. Thank you.